Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Good Time Movie Reviews. I'm Wyatt. That's JP. And today we're talking about Warfare. So, JP and I watched this movie last night, and we didn't talk too much about it besides some expletives that came out in just pure reactionary. Um,
Speechless
it-
is a good description for what we were during the credits. That was
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I'm still kind of processing everything with this movie. Where do you want to start with it? What's you've slept on it now? What are we thinking
Yeah.
with this film?
So I'm going to start with asking you a question.
Okay.
Do you think this is an anti-war movie or a pro-war movie?
Is I mean an anti like incredibly anti-war. Not even it
Yeah.
doesn't take a stance. I don't even know if it takes a stance. It's just like I don't think it's attempting to be an anti-war movie, but it is just by its accurate depiction of things.
Yeah. I think you described Alex Garland's recent notoriety
Mhm.
perfectly. He's very quiet, or not even quiet. It's like he's secretive about what he wants to do in his movies. He's not upfront about really anything. And then, of course, the marketing team, especially for Civil War, has to be like, shit, we got to think of something to get butts in seats. And then people go to the movie, and what they think the movie is gonna be is not actually what it is, and then they don't like it. So I'm
Mhm.
not the biggest Civil War guy. After watching Warfare, I am. I think
Okay.
Alex Garland, starting to understand his recent filmmaking style now. He is very, I don't even know if nuanced is the right word. What he's trying to do, he throws in the background. It's very interesting. And there are a lot of reviews that I'm glad we saw it Thursday night. Because if I
Mhm.
read reviews going in, I literally would have watched a different movie. Because some reviews are calling this pro-war propaganda, a live-action Call of Duty mission. And I read those and I'm like, what movie did you see?
Yeah.
Like Alex Garland's Warfare, and it's honestly a little unfair to call it Alex Garland's Warfare because it's not his story. I'm gonna look up the guy right now. It's Ramirez, who is played by an actor with a name I can't pronounce. Um, Ray Mendoza. Sorry, Ray Mendoza. I got a little too Call of Duty there with Ramirez. It's Ray Mendoza's movie. This is he's riding the line on anti-war and pro-war, but the anti-war moments I think are what make this movie really special. He does not glorify any specific soldier. We start with them dancing to, is it Britney Spears?
I
It's
think I totally forgot about that opening. Oh my
that
gosh.
it's a great opening.
Yeah.
But like we see the soldiers, we're introduced to them as a bunch of bros dancing to hot chicks on TV. And like who else does that? College frat bros. We immediately see these soldiers who volunteered to be in Iraq in the 2000s. We see them as frat bros. And then you have these frat bros with huge machine guns in a desert they're not supposed to be in. Like that is a statement in itself. And then throughout the movie, he does not pick a soldier to be a hero. No one steps up. All these boys are like doing the job, and then once it goes wrong, they quickly realize what war actually is.
Yeah.
And the big decision that he did that I am really surprised by, we're kind of going to go into spoilers a little bit here.
Yeah.
Uh, there is no confirmed kills, none. The enemy is always there, no matter what you do. We never see a dead uh, opposing
Yeah.
revolutionary insurgent, whatever lingo you want to put. We never see one die, and that is a huge decision that goes directly against people calling it a Call of Duty movie. If it was Call of Duty, we would see dudes in balaclavas lit up every other, and we
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, I wanna talk about that a little bit just with and it goes back to Civil War too, because Civil War is a movie where I watched it, I
Mhm.
enjoyed it, and then I just found myself thinking about it more. And,
Yeah.
like, I just found myself revisiting it and, like, really sitting with what is this trying to say, and I think what I've noticed with that movie and this movie, it almost feels like Alex Garland just forces you to sit with it. Just, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
sit in this
Yeah.
space, and then come up with your own take on it, and, like, not in a
Yeah.
lazy way, not in, like,
Yes.
a, "Oh, you figure it out" type of way, just, "Hey, this is a nuanced topic,
Yeah.
this is a tough discussion or topic for people to handle sometimes." And I think you see that in the way people are I say reacting to the movie. Everyone I've seen like tweet about, "Oh, this is like a war propaganda movie," hasn't seen the movie. And that's where I found
That's what it feels
myself.
like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I literally I never do this, but I was deep in Twitter last night because I wanted to see what people were saying about this movie, and I
Yeah.
saw there were a few reviews or like someone tweeted like, "Why would I go see this uh very clear American propaganda movie?"
Mhm.
And I was like, I replied, I had Twitter fingers last night, and I was like, "Watch
Oh,
the
no.
movie." I was like, "You got to watch the movie." I was like, "Please, I don't mean this out of any malice whatsoever. Watch the movie, and then if you have that take, but I don't think you will." And like
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting thing with any war movie now is just immediately. And I don't know if this movie, besides knowing what time period it is, it's almost like a and like it could be any battle, any war. Like it doesn't make it super explicitly,
Yeah.
hey, we're dealing.
Any modern
Yes.
war.
Yeah.
I think that is the big distinction. You can make there's a World War II movie that comes out every year and no one complains about it. World War II movies, Hollywood World War II movies are more propaganda than any Iraq, Afghan war movie ever can be because we like are the bad guys when we show up in the Middle East and bomb streets and break into people's houses and shoot random people. Like we are the bad guys. Like in this movie, they use Iraq soldiers as meat shields. They're not good people. And so it's like there's a lot of politics in that, but it's not propaganda. The second you go back to World War II, Nazis are so like mustache twirly, like especially in like Indiana Jones movies. They Indiana Jones kind of made Nazis the easy punching bag for Hollywood. It's like, oh, they have funny outfits and accents. I can punch them, I could shoot them. No one cares because they're evil. And that like, oh, they're evil. Every World War II movie, at least in the European theater aspect, is kind of propaganda because this is the greatest generation America's ever seen, rising up to the challenge, Call of Duty,
Mhm.
killing evil men. And that's more propaganda than frat bros in the desert that aren't supposed to be there realizing they fucked up.
Yeah.
Like,
I described it when people asked me last night, like, "Oh, how was the movie?" I really just said it was 90 minutes of hell. And that's
yeah,
basically what it felt like. It's like
yeah,
it's 90 minutes of hell for us watching it and for obviously the story, but
mhm.
it's just and I want to talk about the cast a little bit because I think it's super interesting where it's kind of a loaded cast when you
It
look at
is
the names
secretly.
you have. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
it's like, "Oh, these are all like the I don't want to say like B list, but like almost emerging stars in Hollywood." There's a lot of
yeah,
I think 10 years
yeah,
from now, we're gonna look back and be like, "Holy shit, all these people were in the
yes,
same movie."
yes, yeah.
Um,
Right
but
now, it's a lot of oh that guy. It's a lot
yeah,
of that in a
yes.
good way. In a good way.
Yeah, but I also think when you have a cast like that with names that people would know and be like, "Oh, that guy," it doesn't it doesn't rely on that. It doesn't rely on like, "Oh, I know this
Yeah.
person. Let's give this actor a moment to shine," which they all do shine, but it almost
Mhm.
feels like it's a faceless cast, if that makes sense. Where it's
Yeah.
like, they're soldiers. this isn't Jonathan Quinn playing a soldier. These are just soldiers. It feels
Mhm.
like a faceless cast to me. And it was most apparent when I talked to you after the movie. I saw like when we were watching the credits, I saw Noah Centineo and I was like, where the fuck was he in that movie?
I still don't know who he
I
is.
still
I
don't
still don't know
remember
who he is.
where Noah Centineo
Yeah.
was in this movie. I was like, maybe I was like, did I read that wrong? But yeah, I just like I don't I was very interesting because you have recognizable names and the movie doesn't care that they are recognizable names, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
movies are like, hey, we have a recognizable name. We're gonna make sure you know this person's here.
And that
It was cool.
actor or the agents of that actor are like, "Hey, we need his full face to be
Mhm.
in view for the big scene so that he can cry and that we could see, oh, it's Will Poulter, it's Brad Pitt." Like there's a lot of ego that goes into big stars in war movies sometimes. But for this one, they're all wearing helmets. They all have buzz cuts. They all wear goggles or like there are things in front of their face, every single one of them, except for I think Will Poulter because he's
Yeah.
like taking point. He's the head of this squad, and Joseph Quinn. But
Hmm.
I think the way Joseph Quinn uses him not having a helmet on for a lot of the movie and like having his like naked face almost, he does a lot with that. I really
Yeah.
like that actor Joseph Quinn. I think he's going to be a
Yeah.
huge guy soon.
I mean, he's about to have a coming out party with Fantastic Four. Um,
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, it's I think that's gonna be
Yeah.
the role for him where the average moviegoers be like, "Oh, I know that guy. It's Johnny
Yeah.
Storm." So,
Yep.
the other person that stood out to me, maybe just because I love him, is Charles Melton. He kinda shows in that second wave when they come in.
Yeah.
Um, he's an Oscar winner in my book, by the way. He should have, A,
He's
been
great.
nomi the fact that he wasn't nominated for May December still pisses me off to this day. It's one of those
Yeah.
things where I don't think he would have won because it was that Oppenheim? No, that was the year before. He wasn't gonna beat,
Uh,
it was Everything Everywhere All at Once, Ke Huy Quan. Um, he
was
wouldn't
that the
have won.
same year?
I believe so. Or was it the year before?
I
I
think it
don't
was
know.
the year after. But yeah, there was no way he was going to win. Both those years were pretty
Yeah,
stacked for supporting. Supporting is sometimes harder than leading.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, he deserves a lot more roles, a lot more credit. He's great. And in this, he shows up real quick. I think he has the most like I know this guy, and there's a presence to him, and that
mhm,
works.
yeah.
He
It's
has the most.
I like Will Poulter too, just because seeing him switch from like, he was, like, the nerdy, geeky character for a good 5-year stretch there. I think
Yeah,
of him as the guy from, was it We Are the Millers? With
yeah, yeah,
Sudeikis and Aniston, like, you like, put them side by side. I know it's cliche at this point because he's been this version of Will Poulter for a long time now, but it's still so funny looking back, like, this soldier I'm looking at right now is
yeah,
that geek from We Are the Millers. Very fun, but yeah, it's like I think the
yeah.
cast is phenomenal, and it's what
The cast is a lot of pretty boys and like face actors. Like
mhm,
the lead actor from Shogun has a big role in this movie, especially his face has a big role in this movie, and he's a really good face actor. He
yeah,
has a weird look about him and he knows how to use it for all of his roles. And Will Poulter's like right in the middle. He was a face actor with his big eyebrows, and then he got hot. So he's like
yeah,
right in the middle. So it's like it's perfect that he's in this movie, and it's also perfect he's in charge of all the pretty boys and the face actors. He's the lead.
yeah.
Yeah.
How how do you look at a movie like this in terms of like enjoyment? Because I think this isn't one of those examples of it feels wrong to say like, "Oh, did you," like to narrow down movies to, "Oh, did you like it or did you not?" Because
Mhm.
I don't necessarily like I I liked it, but I didn't enjoy it because it's not meant to be
Mm.
enjoyed. I'm not supposed to have a fun experience.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's a weird thing to negotiate with because I think we just simplify it to, "Oh, what's your score? Did you like the movie?"
Y
It's
yeah.
like I don't know if I did like it, but it's a great like I don't I don't know. It's hard for me to
Yeah.
negotiate that in my head, if that makes sense.
So my metric is I try to find out what the filmmakers were trying to achieve with the project and whether they were successful or not.
Gotcha.
Um, Civil War, I was kind of on the fence on whether he succeeded or not because the public didn't react in the way I don't think he wanted them to. So I was very much on the fence, like I don't really know if this movie is successful or not. Uh, Monetarily, it made a profit. It did really well. So you could also say, well, it did what it needed to do. I think in 10 years, Civil War will be a classic. It will. It will age like wine, especially with what's happening right now.
Yeah.
I think this movie is more successful in what it's trying to do right now because it's a much simpler movie than Civil War. It's very straightforward.
Mhm.
So I think it succeeds in what it is trying to do. I feel everything these soldiers are feeling. And the sound design, if this doesn't win the Oscar for sound this year, I'm gonna be mad because the sound design is like one of the main characters of the movie.
Yeah.
Like there's probably 10 minutes where soldiers are like every soldier that we're following is concussed from an explosion. And
Yeah.
so the sound design is like
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna we're gonna mess you up for 10 minutes. It gets a little repetitive because we kind of cut in and out and it's like, oh, we're cutting back into the weird concussive sound design. Other than that though, like every time a jet flies over, that's
Oh,
the
it hits
coolest
you.
thing. That's the coolest thing I've ever heard. It's
Yeah.
awesome. All the gunfire is so physical. It hits you every time. So the sound design, like it has to win the Oscar. It's definitely going to
It
get nominated. So I and the opening sequence where they're in the house and it's really quiet and they're waiting for it to happen. They know something's going to happen. They're just
Mhm.
waiting for it. That tension is perfect. Like it is the perfect length. And you think something is going to happen. You think it's going to be a big boom and like it's not. The way they do it and the way they don't actually know what is outside the walls that they see is super interesting and terrifying.
Yeah.
So I think the movie is very successful at what it is trying to do in terms of movies being anti-war. This is a much bigger conversation. There are like different filmmakers that have historical ideas of what an anti-war movie is. I think it's like Francis Ford Coppola said something about anti-war, like, well, every movie is anti-war, and Spielberg's like, every movie is pro-war, and I'm kind of blanking on which one said which, but I fully believe every movie that is showing warfare is accidentally pro-war because it's entertainment. Like I used to room with a guy that's now in the Air Force. He loves Saving Private Ryan. He's literally watching hundreds of US troops die in the sand in Normandy and he's crying. But that's what makes him want to serve our country.
Do you
And it's
think
like,
this
what?
movie did that? 'Cause
I
I think it's the o like, I had an opposite reaction to it
if
where
you have a Hollywood movie, if you have a Hollywood wide release movie of a bunch of dudes firing big ass guns and jets flying low and tanks blowing up buildings, you're still gonna get those guys that are like,
Interesting.
fuck yeah, America. You still will
Yeah.
get them. Even though we don't see like the amount of like taxpayer dollars that is wasted in this battle with zero confirmed kills. Like that's embarrassing as an American to be like, why are we here? What the hell are we doing? How do we look this bad? But that's me, and I'm very anti-war, so that's my perspective. But if
Yeah.
you are a veteran or if you want to serve already, this movie is gonna slap. You're gonna love this movie also, but for different reasons.
Interesting, and maybe that's
Yeah,
just my perspective because I can't imagine walking out of that theater and being like, "Hell yeah." Like, I don't because like I said,
it's
it's like
yeah,
90 minutes of hell, and, like, no
yeah,
part of that there is no hero shot. There is no,
no,
"We save the day at the end." It's
right,
escape. It's how do I
yeah,
sur it's survival,
yeah,
and I don't know where the appeal in that comes from. And, like, maybe you're right, some people will see it that way.
mhm.
I just personally can't bring myself to understand that. But
It's I think the
yeah.
question to ask is people coming out of the theater is you grab them and you're like, "Are those soldiers heroes?" And you will give very different answers. I will
Yeah.
be like, "No, they're frat boys that thought they were gonna be heroes. They show up, something goes wrong, they see combat, and they realize very quickly war is hell."
Yeah. They're scared kids. Like,
They're
that's what I'm
scared
seeing.
kids. And then I think actually the best character doesn't even have a name, is the "Oorah" dude that keeps stepping on the dude's legs,
Yeah.
and then he
Oh
slaps him in
my
the chest. He's like, "Oh, it's just a paper cut. You could get up." Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like,
yeah.
you are gonna kill him. And like that's I fully believe that actually happened. Like
And, like
Mendoza is
yeah.
saying
Wow.
this all is based on memory. That dude is real. That is a real guy. That actually happened.
And
So I
that's the guy that is viewing or, like, is coming out of that movie thinking, "Hell yeah, these guys are here." Like,
yes.
that's
Yeah.
the stereotype of
Yes.
the
Yeah.
pro-war, war
Yes.
propaganda movie goer. Like, that's the
Yes.
guy.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's
Yeah.
poking fun not poking fun, but, like, it's
It's
exposing that
it's exposing the reality that those guys are out there.
yeah,
And I have not seen Jarhead. I'm sorry, I haven't seen
me
Jarhead.
neither.
I really want to. There's a clip in Jarhead where I think they even before they even deploy, they put all the recruits in a room and they play the helicopter scene from Apocalypse Now, and they're cheering to it. Apocalypse Now is like the crowned king of anti-war, where all these helicopters fly in and they just gun down an entire village and burn down an entire forest. For what reason? And then like the commanding officer, I don't know if it's the commanding officer, but it's like a dude that's in charge of a lot of people. He's like, "Oh no, the napalm is ruining the waves. I wanted to come here to surf." And it's like, "What the hell are we doing here?" So
Yeah.
I the fact that Jarhead uses that sequence, one of the most infamous anti-war sequences in cinema history, and saying people love this scene, they say hoorah to it. I need to see Jarhead. That is probably the most successful anti-war movie to be like, this sucks.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
my the take that I was thinking of, and I mentioned it to you yesterday, or I was like, "I'm gonna save this for this show."
Hmm.
Like, halfway through the movie, I just had this thought in my head of why movies rock so much, because the fact that I'm watching this movie, I'm watching this 90 minutes of war hell, and it's the same art form as Inside Out 2. Like, the fact that those 2 are the same medium, like, I can experience those and feel things from both those things. It's
Yeah.
just it's so cool. It's so cool to me, and I think it's like the Barbenheimer effect where you have
Yes. Yeah.
2 incredibly different expressions of art, of film, but it's
Yeah.
still the same they're still in the same group of, "This is a movie." And I just think that's so cool. Like, I was just broadly looking at it, I was like, "Whoa." There's someone across the theater watching the Minecraft movie right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's crazy to me, and I think we got out at the same time as people who maybe saw the Minecraft movie, which I'm like, we're, like,
Yeah.
shell-shocked.
That was such a weird reaction where we're coming out like, "Holy
Holy
shit."
shit.
And then those 2, like, high school girls and 3 high school boys were like, "Yo, what's up?" And it's just like, "Get the fuck back."
Yeah. It's like, I need to breathe. I literally felt like like you mentioned the sound design, I felt that where I was like, "Oh my gosh, I need to,
Yeah.
like, take a breath, I need to catch my breath here," but Yeah, let's give scores real quick, and then I'll kind of want to talk about just more movies. We've talked more movies the whole time, but just like in
Mhm.
general. I want to check what I gave Civil War because I think I'm gonna be around the
Oh, yeah.
same. I
Right
gave
now, I'm
okay,
giving a higher score than Civil War right now. In years, I have a feeling Civil War will be much better
okay.
on rewatch.
I gave Civil War 76. I think I'm higher on it now than when I initially because I scored it right away. I think it's in the 80s for me at this point.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put this at if I bump Civil War up to like an let's say 83, I'd put this just below like an 82, 81.
How are you doing like single digits? I can only do the most I can do is out of 10. How do you do out of 100? I
It's
don't
it's
understand.
it's it's so arbitrary, like
Okay.
incredibly. It's literally just a gut, like, hey, let's just
Yeah.
put this there. And I
What's
look
your
back
what's
at
your rubric? Like
I
yeah.
literally so I again I treat it like I'm my only rubric is like 70 is a fail. So if it is below a
Okay.
70, I don't think it accomplished what it's trying to do, or I just really did not enjoy it. It's a grading scale, like a teacher. So
Yes.
like A
Yeah.
plus is 95 or above. So I
Yeah.
only see it that way. I don't get too particular about the details. It's super arbitrary.
Okay. Okay.
Where are you
So
at?
so wait, what'd you give Civil War, what'd you give Warfare?
Civil Wars 83, Warfare 82.
Okay. I gave when I walked out of the theater, when I left the theater, I didn't walk out. I gave Civil War a 6 out of 10
Okay.
because I think it's very effective viscerally in the filmmaking and the editing and sound design, very similar to Warfare, but I think it I wasn't a fan of the ambiguity, so I gave it a 6. I saw that as a flaw. Nowadays, maybe I won't. I don't know. Warfare, I think the ambiguity is less frustrating because it's talking about less things. And the sound design and the editing and the action and the tension and the confined space, super effective. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. 8
Okay.
out of 10. Yep.
All right. Real quick, I just want to like you mentioned last night talking about war movies in general, which we kind of have done. Um,
Mhm.
but I want to kind of get your thoughts. Like what really defines a war movie for you? Because I was thinking about this. You asked me like, oh, like what
Yeah.
are like favorite war movies? And I think for me, the best war movies are ones that just focus on the humans and the war is the backdrop. So like a good example of that is like
Mhm.
Jojo Rabbit. Like it's sitting there like it's a human story,
Mm.
but
Okay.
it's in the backdrop or like the war is in the backdrop. Like actual war movie that's strictly focused on like the horrors and the violence of war. It's usually not something I gravitate towards. Like I
Okay.
need more of that human connection, which is weird that this movie worked for me in a weird
Mm.
way because it
Yeah.
is normally what I wouldn't enjoy, and I just think I understood what they're trying to get at. Um, but yeah, what do you constitute or define like a war movie as?
It's funny that you bring up Jojo Rabbit because that is for me that's on the fence because Jojo he's part of the Hitler Youth, but he's a civilian.
Yeah,
So I have a big pet peeve. Holocaust movies are not war movies. Like
interesting.
Schindler's List, not a war movie. That's a Holocaust movie. So a lot of people name I would say Jojo Rabbit is more a Holocaust movie because he's not on the front lines. He's worried about this girl in his house. That's a
Mhm.
Holocaust movie.
Okay.
Even though the war comes to their hometown, and I think that's one of the better sequences of that whole movie, especially with Sam Rockwell's character. Very well done.
Mhm.
It's a great movie. I don't think it's a war movie. So my definition of a war movie is, and it can take place in any era of history, is you have to be on the front lines. You have to either be on the front lines or be a soldier. There has to be this like weight of body count kind of
Gotcha.
thing.
And does it
Like
have in your mind? Does it have to be a non-fictional war that's taking place?
No, it could be. Oh, it could be a fictional war. It
This
could
is like
definitely.
Lord of the Rings. Is that a war movie?
That's that is a good question that kind of breaks my rule. Um, because it's like they're on a mission. They're on a mission independent about to start or the war that is happening. They're not like
Yeah. Okay.
soldiers. They're on a different mission. So
I think
I
I
put
could
an
find a
asterisk on
loophole.
that.
I could
Yeah,
probably find a loophole
yeah,
and, like, make every movie technically a war movie by your definition, but I don't think it's,
yeah,
like, impossible. I don't
yeah,
think it's possible to really define that, but because I was thinking
yeah.
about it, it's like, I don't really like typical war movies,
Hmm.
and, like, the closest one that I enjoy and, like, it's more modern war movies, like, Dunkirk is a movie that I enjoy well, and, like, I don't think
Yeah.
that maybe fits the mold of typical war movies. I don't know where you stand on that, but
It is
Dunkirk is something I enjoy.
unorthodox. It's very
Yeah.
unorthodox. I kind of like it. If you like Dunkirk or if you're on the fence, watch the Rewatchables episode. It's a podcast episode. They brought Quentin Tarantino on the episode to talk about Dunkirk.
Okay.
Tarantino talking about other people's movies, the greatest thing in the world. Like he's so full of himself when he talks about his own movies. It's so
Yeah.
frustrating. When he talks about someone else's movies, he's the greatest film critic I've ever heard. It is insane.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to
So
check
hearing
that
him
out.
talking about Christopher Nolan is a sight to see kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Alright, anything else, with this movie, war movies in general before we wrap up?
Uh no, no.
Alright.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we covered it. So, next week, we will talk about Sinners, which
Yes. Yeah.
you've claimed like, I feel like this is your Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You've been
Pretty much.
excited for
Yeah.
this for a while, and
Very
I'm
excited.
excited as well. So it's gonna be very fun. So, thanks everyone for listening. Let us know if you saw Warfare. Let us know what your thoughts. Well, if you saw Warfare, if you didn't see Warfare, why the fuck are you watching this episode?
Go see
But
it. Go
yeah,
see it.
go see it after that 30-minute conversation
Yeah.
we just had. Thanks for
Yeah.
watching. We'll see you guys next week.